Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Woman Behind the Makeup with Nina Emilio. Today we have the amazing and talented Kai, aka the Soho Girl. She's a journalist, PR consultant, and founder and editor of My Soho Times. It's a free lifestyle magazine hyper-local to Soho, London. This season, My Soho Times celebrates its 1-year anniversary as a print magazine. Kai shares her journey navigating her startup business through a pandemic and how extending the brand into a digital platform, My Soho TV, was an important financial decision to make. So please help me welcome Kai. So how are you today, Kai?
I'm actually good. I'm really good. You've caught me at a moment where obviously in bed, but I'm actually feeling really relaxed and calm after a very busy few months.
I know
Yeah.
I've seen on Instagram, but it looks like it's been a busy, fun few months.
Busy fun. That's
Yeah.
actually a good way to coin it actually. You know, I saw a quote that you have to choose a job you love and it doesn't feel like work, but you do the overtime. That's the part they don't tell you.
Yeah.
So it has been busy and it's been fun, but also a lot of work. But I'm totally grateful to be in this position as in bed.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's live from her bed in Soho.
Live from my bed in Soho. I mean, where else would I rather be?
There's no place better. I 100% agree. So today on Women Behind the Makeup, we're gonna just talk about everything from My Soho Times, your life, what you've been up to, starting, this magazine, and also it being, lockdown, a few months after you started it, and just talking about how that's been while we're doing our makeup. So today we're going to focus on our skin. So
Absolutely.
today I've already prepped it and primed it. So I'm going to start with
Oh,
foundation.
you're a step ahead of
Am I a
you're a
step
step
ahead?
ahead
I
of me.
cheated. I cheated. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna
That's
start with
fine.
my foundation, which we're gonna link everything that Kai and I are using. But I'm gonna start with my Huda Beauty foundation. What are you gonna do today?
So, do you know what? When you mentioned makeup, I got a little bit scared because I actually don't use that much makeup. But when
Okay.
you said about skincare, I was like, aha, because I prioritize moisturizing my skin, for example, over
Right.
makeup and foundation. I actually rarely use foundation. So I
Okay.
always start with just cleansing my skin. Usually that's in the shower, but if I'm
Okay.
a little bit like lazy or in a hurry, I just get some wipes, just any old gentle wipes,
Okay.
and just start with that. So that's what I'll do now.
Okay. So my first question for you today, while we're getting ready, glammed up, is what was your inspiration in creating My Soho Times? And can you just tell us a little bit about the magazine?
Oh, wow. My inspiration was that I live in Soho and I needed to make the most of it.
Yeah.
So my other hat, or head wrap rather, is that I'm a travel journalist. So I tend to
Oh,
do quite a lot of traveling outside of the UK.
right.
And every time I'm back in London or in Soho, I feel a bit of a disconnect and I'm itching to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And last summer, I was like, that's such a shame that I've just got back from a trip and I don't even want to stay in London. I just want to go back somewhere else,
Right.
just get a commission out. And
Okay.
um and I thought, well, I need something that keeps me grounded to London.
Mm-hmm.
And I already had my Soho Times as a blog. I set it up as far back in
Oh,
2012.
okay. I didn't
I
know
thought I
that.
was going to
Okay.
be like Carrie Bradshaw of Soho. And then I
I
realized
love
that
it.
I don't like telling my business, let alone who I'm dating, sort of thing. So in 2015, I just set it up as like a sort of review blog sort of
Yeah.
thing. And
Mm-hmm.
then it was last summer that I really took the step to turn it into like a content creation online thing, and then it became a pilot magazine.
Right. Oh, very cool. So I was gonna ask you what was your background prior, but so you did travel blogging.
Yeah,
Are you?
travels.
Were you a
always
journalist?
been.
Did you have any journalism?
Yeah, I studied journalism.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean,
Okay.
but it took a long time. I mean, I sort of beat about the bush when it came to going to university. I went in my sort of early 20s and then it wasn't for me, so I dropped out. And then I realized that there were some opportunities that were coming my way, but because I didn't have a degree, I wasn't applicable to them.
Yes.
So I decided, Kai, just put your head down, go to uni, get this degree.
Just do it.
And
Yeah.
the dream was to work at the BBC, you know. But I guess, you know, I think uni had its pros and cons because,
Yeah.
if anything, it did kind of knock my confidence, to be honest, in a sense that the dream, first of all, to work for the BBC was dismissed because my tutors, in a way, I thought they represented the industry that I wanted to go into. But because I was being failed, I thought, why would I go and work for this industry that doesn't appreciate
Yeah.
my way of thinking and is just going to fail me or not, or dismiss my ideas? So in that sense, it wasn't the greatest of experiences. But in another sense, is that I was very active in my students' union, and so I got very involved in organising events and networking, and a lot of the skills I learned through that is what I use for my Soho Times now.
Yeah, that you've taken to
Absolutely.
make it work now.
Yeah.
That's like with me too. I'm a singer and a songwriter, and putting music and school just doesn't work for me. It has to be like your passion and organic. As soon as you mix like the school of it, it's just then I was so scared that I was gonna like lose the love that I had for it. So I totally know what you mean on that level. So your portrait was one of the Someone of Soho's project. How did that happen? And can you just tell us about that project for maybe someone who doesn't know?
Yeah, sure. So Someone of Soho is a really exciting project that's created by photographer Richard Piercy.
Okay.
And I discovered it only this year during the first lockdown in March because he very creatively had an outdoor exhibition with the boarded up buildings in Soho, and so that's where I learned about it and I saw the familiar faces of Soho and I thought, oh, interesting. And then before I know it, I get an email saying that he's continuing with the project and would I like to be part of it, have a sitting, and he'll take my portrait. Ironically though, is that, or maybe not so ironically, but I was actually in a really low space at that time, and I wasn't feeling very photogenic, but I sort of had to just force myself to be part of this amazing project, and I knew if I cancelled I would regret it. And you know, sometimes I complain about the lack of diversity, and I've been given this opportunity to bring myself and to then say no because I'm feeling so low and I can't get out of bed would be just, you know, just
a disservice.
a disservice, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really glad actually that I faced my demons and you know, just I think sometimes you just have to help yourself. Like, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to really grab your hand and say, get out of bed. Let me help you put the makeup on.
Right.
And let's take those steps outside and get on with, you know, being productive. You just have to find the willpower within you. And I guess Richard's invite was, first of all, a really lovely thought and also motivation. He obviously didn't know what I was going through.
Right,
and usually when I'm feeling very low, or let's call it what it is, depressed, I tend to hibernate or retreat. And so people are not aware of what I'm going through. And then when I'm feeling better is when I'll be like, oh, I'm here. So I actually took like 4 months off Instagram, like from posting, because I wasn't ready to even... I just wasn't even ready to have a presence, to be honest. And then when I was, it was like, okay, yes, she's here.
Yeah. But you're totally right. You have to get yourself through it.
Yeah.
But it is good to reach out for help, and there's probably lots of people out there that, you know, there's lines that you can call. So it is good to reach. You shouldn't suffer alone, but you were right.
You shouldn't.
But
you shouldn't. I'm just very stubborn.
Yeah.
I'm very stubborn.
I am too.
Yeah. So I don't know how to ask for help.
Right.
So I've learned that I've had to be my own.
You have to save yourself and help yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Your own hero.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about this. We'll come back to this subject a little bit later, but I just want to ask you how it feels to celebrate 1 year of the magazine, and what does it symbolize for you?
Oh, wait, can I actually just show you the magazine?
Yes, I would love, 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 love. Hold it to the camera.
Ta-da! This is our 1 year.
Beautiful.
And we have Gokwan. So Gokwan is a lot of things, but I personally coin him as the nation's favorite TV self-love guru. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with How to Look Good Naked. It was a breakthrough TV show back in sort of like the mid-noughties, just about self-empowerment, about positivity, loving yourself, and seeing yourself as you are and accepting yourself as you are. And I used to watch that in my, I would say maybe mid to late teens. And at that time I had a lot of issues, as a lot of teenagers do. And so to be able to interview especially to mark our 1 year anniversary, was a massive achievement for me. So I'm really, really excited. I do also have our first edition, which is Mark Powell on the cover, and that's quite iconic because Mark Powell he's a bespoke tailor based in Soho. He's got a 35-year history in Soho. Wow. He's iconic, and to have him as our first print issue was and so. And then sorry, they're just going to keep rolling now.
No, go. I love this. I love it.
This was the pilot. And a friend of mine said, Kai, why have you got yourself on there? I'm like, it's the pilot. Yeah, let me put myself on there. Who else is going to put me on their front cover? So I have to create my own magazine to put me on my front cover.
Sometimes you have to create your own stuff to get yourself.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
And it's the first one. You don't want to put like a celebrity on the pilot one, which isn't even doing a full round. So I said, let me test it out with me. And I'm actually really proud of this one. This was the blueprint of what the others were meant to be. I think we've evolved very nicely. I've definitely learned a thing or two about design, because I do all the design myself just to keep costs low. Yeah. I've learned a thing or two about font size, because our first edition you couldn't even read. I mean, you could read it if you were like this. Yeah. But so I'm not too hard on myself with these things now, because a year later I can now see the progression. If it was perfect at the beginning, then it's like, where do you have to grow?
Do you go? Exactly. So, same with this whole segment. I did my first one, and then you pick things that you love about it, and the things that you need to work on, and then you grow for the next one, and you keep going. 100%
absolutely
agree with you. So now you're going digital. What will My Soho Times TV look like? What can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, I am so excited about My Soho Times TV. Okay, let me give some context.
Okay.
So this year, for many of us, it's been really, really difficult, right?
Right.
And prior to our lockdown in March, I went to a business workshop for young entrepreneurs, and we had to write a 6-month to 1 year goal plan. And one of the things I wrote was to get a mentor and to digitalize My Soho Times, through particularly through video. I was quite specific. And then another thing was to get a partnership, but I named the price. I have to say, we've kind of got 2.5 out of the 3 that I wrote. The partnership, we didn't get the full amount, but we did get a lovely partnership. And then I got not just one mentor, but I managed to get 3 mentors. And we launched My Soho Times TV. And the reason why it means so much to me is because lockdown happening literally meant we potentially lost a lot of partners that we could have had, just because purse strings became shut tight, and marketing is usually one of the first to go. The marketing budget is usually one of the first to go. So to try and get partnerships, and especially talking about a video now, people we can almost think they can make their own videos with their phone and stuff, and not actually seeing the potential and the importance of a professional production crew. So I just went ahead and self-funded it myself.
Wow.
I had to, because I was thinking, gosh, that's going to cost a lot. But then I thought that actually the cost of my mental health and the void it's going to leave with regret if I don't say, what are the good things about 2020? I wanted to be able to say I launched my Soho Times TV in 2020. And to be honest, it's been an investment, and hopefully something positive will come out of it, i.e. partnerships. But most importantly, I'm so happy that I did it.
I was going to say, your happiness is something positive.
Absolutely.
Right?
We have to create our own opportunities, because if I'm
100%.
sitting and waiting for someone to say, Kai, here's some money, go and launch your My Soho Times TV, that could take a while if it even happens.
Exactly.
So I'm really, really happy that I followed my gut instinct, and I even almost cancelled it once again because we had a second lockdown. And I thought, oh goodness, no, there's just no point. I have to be smart, prioritize. But sometimes you have to be a little bit crazy. When you are running your own business, you have to be crazy. I mean, first of all, you're crazy to be running your own business anyway, especially if you're doing it solo and you're self-funding it. And act on that craziness, because that craziness is from a place of passion, and people will see your passion. If that craziness allows you to platform what you're about, and especially take it to a different level. I feel that since we've done the My Soho Times TV, the few videos that we've put out has just allowed people to just imagine our potential. I have people come up to me and say, Kai, you know, your magazine, it can be big. And I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, I know, that's why I'm investing all this money. But I'm agreeing with them. It's just nice to attract this positive energy of people who see your potential and see where you're going with it, and you're like, oh gosh, people can see it, so it's worth it. You start with that, and then you grow, and then you get the people who have the money to come to you and say, we like what you're doing and we want to be part of it. Because if you're doing something you love, people will be attracted to the aura and they will come to you. And 100%. It's only a matter of time. So 100%. So anyone who's in a similar boat to me, I'm the worst at giving advice, so you don't have to take my advice, please. But I would just say, you're not in this boat alone. Find your gut instinct and tune into it. It's this thing in your stomach that will harass you if you don't do that thing. Obey it and work towards making it happen. Is that okay? Oh my goodness, I just want to see who it is. Oh, I think it's a delivery. Can you excuse me 1 second? Okay.
I'm filming. If you want to film too.
I am filming. Hold on, let me put my headphones back in. Oh, do I have to? No, maybe not the headphones, because... Alright, yeah, pop your head through.
Hello!
Look good!
Of course you came to ruin my interview. Thanks.
Hello! Canada.
No, this is Kieran from London Beautiful Life.
Hello.
And, he introduced me to the wonderful, beautiful Kai, and of course he has to come and...
Absolutely, he has to come and take over the show.
You can disguise and hide what you feel inside, but let those feelings go. Everyone reads what's written on your face. The truth is yours to know.